Welcome to webinar 105. Theme of the month is the love of the family. And of course, we love our families and we love that they love us and that they are with us and they can watch us and watch us grow and we get to watch them grow. What a blessing to have a family that you're close knit to. Or, it doesn't even have to be family. Friends are family. And we are very blessed tonight because we have Lana Nelson here with us tonight to talk to us about the food codes. So as we begin all good things, if we could please bow our heads and bring in love and peace and harmony, if we would please. Beautiful. Thank you so much. We have 4 guardian angels with us: Gabriel, Sandalphon, Michael, and Raphael. So we are very blessed. Lana, welcome. And thank you so much for coming on and sharing the food codes with us.
I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks to Kayla for telling us about your food code book. That is so awesome. So what got you started on the food code book? What made you even start in that direction?
Well, family, for one thing. I'll go back to your family. I happen to be a mother of 12. Okay, I have a humongous family. I think you're all probably sitting down here.
Thank God.
Yeah, baby, I have a huge family. It started, so the food codes started basically 10 years before I met my husband right now, Dr. Bruce Nelson, who, if any of you are familiar with the emotion code and the body code, my husband, Dr. Bruce, is Dr. Brad's brother.
Yes.
So have been with that family for 27 years now. Okay, my husband and I just celebrated 27 years of marriage, which has been totally awesome. But 10 years before I met my husband, I was actually in an automobile accident.
Oh.
I owned a dental lab, and that was my profession. And so I was delivering some teeth to a woman, to a prosthodontist office one morning, and in my dental lab car, and I was rear-ended by a semi-truck, which sent me to the hospital, and 10 years of terrific headache pain, body pain, and aches and so forth. So working, and this was like in the late 80s, okay? So it's been quite a while ago. But in that time, what we're talking about, angels and energy medicine, we'll be talking a little bit about muscle testing too today. That was really woo-woo stuff back then. But I searched through herbs. I started searching through foods and herbal medicine because I had a really tough time taking. I had never taken medications much before, and they just did not help me with the headaches and the pain I was in. So one of my neurologists said, "I think you should see a chiropractor." And so I did, and that sent me on the kind of the path and avenue of more natural techniques, okay? So the chiropractor led to, in my area, basically, a blind date with so we had, my husband Bruce and I, we had people trying to get us together for 5 years. And, we talk about synchronicity and timing, and the people who had been our family, you're talking about love of family today, our family and some other friends who had tried to get us together for 5 years, and they planned on us meeting, and it's like, you go here, I would go there. Actually, we were talking earlier about the ski hill in Montana. Marcia mentioned the ski hill in Montana. That's where my husband went when he was going to meet me one time and didn't meet me. So our family didn't help us meet, but we met on a blind date with some people in the area of Montana I was living in. he happened to specialize in energy medicine with his chiropractic practice. And literally within 2 weeks of using his method, and Dr. Bradley has now put a good portion of that method out with the body code, okay? So with the beginnings of that method, in 2 weeks, I was totally out of pain, the discomfort. I had range of motion on my head, neck, and shoulders. And not quite a year later, we joined forces and made a humongous family. He had 6 children, I had 6 children, and we joined forces. Okay, so my dental lab, I kept that up for about 6 years. I moved to the city he was in. So Montana is a humongous state, okay? It's big as many states on the East Coast, but we lived on opposite corners of that. So eventually I moved to the northwest corner of Montana where we live right now. But I was so fascinated with what my husband, Dr. Bruce, did with his muscle testing and getting me out of 10 years of a complete pain, that I started working with him in his office and doing, working with him in his office. But I said, you have so much to help heal your patients. And he had actually patients coming from Canada, from the US, a long ways away back then. And Kayla's family knows him longer than I did, by the way. They were Kayla's grandpa and grandma were patients of my husband's. And anyway, so I said, you know what? We need to test food for your patients, the perfect foods that will help them be, to regain their health. Because I had been doing it for myself and my family, using muscle testing to test foods. And people kept saying, wow, you need to write a book about this. So fast forward to a few years later, I decided to write a book about it. And in trying to find the title for it, I had several titles. And my publisher at one point said, I don't even remember that conversation so much now, but I decided as I was doing research, every food has its own energy code, okay, its own energy frequency. So I titled it The Food Codes. And so with the method that I really teach you in the book about testing, you can find out what your best foods are for anything at all. Your best foods for if you'd like to lose some weight. Your best foods for if you would like to have a better brain for your computer and figure things out faster, quicker and stuff. Brain foods, but for whatever you would like. So that's, in more than a nutshell, how I got started with the book.
That is amazing. That is amazing. And how long did it take for you to write this book? Because it looks like it's a huge book.
It is a really big book. It really is. It's not, I know when I started into the recipe section of it, which they basically teach you how to use your food codes and plan your own recipes with portions and parts. It's very brilliant and unique. I had to stop and just put that forward. My publisher said, wait a minute, you have another book going on here. So it's a nice meaty book that is a self-help book to teach you how, why and how to test your own foods and foods for your children, your pets, your animals as well. So, and how to utilize them with, let's say, a family that has different food requirements and so on. So how long it took me was, I would say, 20 years. So not necessarily the writing part of it, okay?
Right.
But all the knowledge that has come into it. So you really start writing a book earlier in your life, because you put your life stories into a book. And when you sit down and determine to write it, it was Well, I've got to back up a little bit on that and why the food codes, okay? I had an entire book written previous to the food codes, and it was about foods you needed, the foods you needed to help you eat your way out of pain, so to speak.
Mm.
So I wrote this book. I took many food plans from patients and determined what their best foods were
Mm-hmm.
across the board, most people's best foods, and
Mm-hmm.
what foods they should stay away from and eliminate from their diet. So I had the perfect diet, okay, determined for to eat your way out of pain. So I had different people like beta testing it for me, and my husband and I put the foods on our refrigerator. I had this special diet plan, and like I said, I had the book already written, and we were just using it. So for about a month or so, maybe a little more, my husband Bruce and I were eating this special diet that I had written the book about, and I think it was called 14 Days for a Pain-Free Life, which is a
Oh,
great title, right? Okay.
yes, yes.
So, and a 14-day food plan for you. And so as we were using it, my husband, Bruce, just soared with it. Oh my gosh, it was so good for him. It had certain proteins and vegetables. I mean, it was a very balanced diet. What anyone on the planet probably would call one of the best diets out there, okay? So, but I started feeling really tired. I even developed some sores and blisters
Mm-hmm.
around my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And just, I thought, what is going on with this? Why am I not feeling really good? Here's what I realized. What my best foods may not be your
Right.
best foods, and vice versa. Every one of us on here in different seasons or different stressors in our life, we could need and require different foods. And I just thought, this is not going to work. This is like any other book that's out there. Because probably everybody on this call has tried a diet at one point in time. Okay, I
Really?
see your heads nodding. Yeah. And maybe at one point in time, I remember trying a diet in my younger years, and my golly, it was fabulous. I just had a baby. I lost like 21 pounds, and it was fabulous. Later on, I tried that. It didn't work. So I'm saying, so what's wrong with me?
Right.
And that's what we do when we try a diet out there. And it works for your friend. And she's going, well, what's wrong with you? This is working really
Right.
good for me. Or, and then I'm going, yeah, what's wrong with me? And then I'm starving myself and I'm doing it exactly right. No, each one of us is different. We
Right.
have food requirements and at different times. So I scratched that book and it's like, oh man, now I really have to do the work. So how am I going to write this book for everyone? So that is what I have with the food codes.
It's
Intuitive
beautiful.
eating for everybody. How you actually use your intuition, your inner knower, through muscle testing or many types of intuition that people have. That's how it came about. So you can see it was a process of
It
trial and
was.
error.
And what did your guinea pigs think?
You know, it worked really well for some, and others went, yeah, it was okay. I found out that what my body really required was more protein. My body is a protein lover, but my husband's body does not need, just generally and most of the time, he doesn't need a lot of protein. He could do really well on like a vegetarian diet with a little
Mm-hmm.
protein now and then. And vegetables do have, I'm talking animal protein.
Right.
And you know, with this food plan, one of the things I say with people is stop judging, because a diet and some of the diets that are out these days are causing more judging
Oh,
of
yes.
each other
Yes.
than not.
Yes.
So, because we all have different requirements. So,
Right.
with using the food codes, you can find out what your best food plan is, or diet, which does not mean anything about starvation or
Right.
deprivation, what your best foods are now or next spring or you know, if you have a family crisis or a national worldwide crisis going on, what are my best foods to deal with this?
And how did you go about, Lana, to uncover all of this? How did you do that? Besides trial and error.
Yeah, just pretty much with that. And then just, okay, working with a lot of clients, found, you know, different imbalances. And here's an interesting thing. So, working with clients that had pain and illness, I could actually look at their food plan and go, oh my gosh, you should stay away from this food, this food, this food. They are foods that might proliferate fungus or mold growth in the body. You can almost tell from a person's food plan their best foods or the foods to stay away from, what is going on physically in their body. So
when you work with someone, then you ask them what their diet is?
I can do that. But what I do is, when I work, well, you can test yourself. You know, a lot of people I've got many testimonials of people that have said, oh my gosh, I've been testing for myself. I'm finding out for myself and my family and my pets, and feeling and just, you know, rashes have gone away that have been on my body, and people that have, you know, a lot of people these days think they're gluten intolerant, and it's actually not the gluten. Just as a side note of one of the things that I've really noticed, because they can actually eat like a sourdough bread. And I've got a couple of great stories in my book about that. I find that people can eat the sourdough bread. It's not the gluten, but possibly yeasts, the yeasts that are used in breads, or their body doesn't handle the digestive process. Right. And so a sourdough is almost like makes that grain more digestible and edible. So just some ideas.
I didn't realize that, because I am gluten intolerant, and so we don't eat bread, noodles, nothing.
Yeah. That's difficult sometimes, because we've all been great, kind of raised on sandwiches and pizza, you know, things like that. So but there's a lot of creativity out there these days with other foods.
Now, when you were working with eating your way out of pain, you just literally just asked the questions, what foods would assist me in
how that particular diet, I took the top foods from many food plans that I had done for people that were very ill. And there were certain, I actually, on my website, thefoodcodes.com, I have a, and you can get it, it's in free stuff. There is the top energy foods. And those literally, the top energy foods were the top 10 of those energy foods that tested the top for people. So you can get that document in there, it's free. But that was, and so those were some of the best foods for people. And then I took the foods to stay away from those food plans, and that's how I formulated, okay, so most of the people, these are their best foods, and most of the people, those were not, these certain other foods were not their best foods. So that's how I formulated that book, which will never come out. You'll never read it. So
Okay.
The Food Codes is not a diet. It basically just teaches you. Are you familiar with muscle testing, Cynthia?
Oh yeah, I've been doing it for 37 years. Yeah.
Okay. And I thought probably a lot of people.
Yeah, everybody is.
Yeah. Yeah. So using that inner knower, your intuition, and some people use dowsing as well, works fabulous. You can test what your best foods are. And when I do a food plan for someone, they will go, oh my gosh, these are the foods that I wanted, that I just went through the grocery store and went, oh, that looks so good. Oh, this. Oh, yeah. So that wonderful inner knower of yours that subconscious brain is always saying, hey girl, you need some apples, or you need a little, oh, how about that over there? Okay. So it makes your, this deliciousness and so your inner knower. And then the muscle testing is the second witness, basically.
Right. Right. I know my husband gets a little embarrassed with me in the store because I muscle test everything I touch.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can do it discreetly.
Yeah.
You can do it, however, and you will see people muscle testing in a store. I actually had a couple of clients who were walking through the store, mom and her daughter, and they're walking through the store and muscle testing, and some lady was following behind them, and she just kind of walked up behind them and said, what are you doing? And they told her about muscle testing. And she said, oh my gosh, that is so cool. And so they muscle tested her grocery basket, and she went putting half of her basket back.
That's cool.
Yeah, so you can do it. You can do it really quickly and really discreetly, and for special purposes too. Right. For instance, if you have a kid who's sick or something like that, and you can get in, get it done, and get out and test what you need. And I can give you examples of that too, but
please.
Yeah, you can. Okay.
Please.
So
love to.
Well, all right. Here's my plan when I go in the store.
Okay.
Who's not busy here? Raise your hand. Okay. Who of us is not busy these days? Everybody is. Do we have time to just go through the supermarket, just dawdling around? Oh, look at this can, oh, look at that. Take you forever. And look at all the options out there. Okay, no, you can actually go into the store. And here's another thing about shopping through the store. We've all heard and know that organic foods are better than other foods out there. Okay, organic foods are better than those nasty ones with pesticides. Well, truth in advertising and truth in, for instance, you're passing the apple section, you have a choice between organic apples or the other ones that are over here, but who knows who just came and sneezed all over the organic apples? Your inner knower does. Your tester knows what certain apples or even brand or color of apple type, of apple might be best for you. Your inner knower. So oftentimes I use my finger and just bring pointing at something, bring my middle finger over top, give me a strong yes and a weak no. So I can just kind of go through, do I need, and I have my food plan already made, okay? So I know at that time most often what I need to shop for. But okay, so apples really test high for me. Is it, gosh, there's like 6 bins of apples here. Is it this one, this one, this one? Oh, it's that one right over there. You can drill it down actually to the apple. Yes. So you can do that. But so you can go down the aisle and so you have all the aisles and end caps. You can simply say, do I need anything on this aisle? No. Okay, do I need anything today on that aisle? Yes. Okay, divide the aisle in half. Is it on that end or this end? Is it on this shelf or that shelf? It's a total amount of fun to do this, okay?
Oh, I bet.
It is a lot of fun. As one example, and I think I tell the story in the book as well, my husband wasn't feeling well. I ran to the store a few years ago. I ran to the store and just went in. I timed myself, okay, because I'm writing the book at that time. I timed myself and I said, okay, what does he need? Show me what I need in this store. Boom, boom, boom. I came out with a few items and it took me 6 minutes, okay? Now, I don't live in a big town. I did not have a humongous line to wait in, but it literally was that fast to get in, get the few items that he needed, and then get out. So think of, people don't like to shop these days.
No.
And there are so many services that say, because you don't like to shop, we're going to charge you quite a bunch of money to send you these foods. And because you don't know what foods are good for you, we can send you these really healthy foods. We'll send them to you once a week. And that's pretty good. They'll even make those foods for you and send them packaged. And you can test some of those programs to see if they're exactly what you need.
Yeah.
But see how fast that you can do it for yourself by using your tester and just go in. You can also use your muscle testing while you're out at a food bar or something. In this day and age, there's not many buffets open, but you can use a menu. You could, a buffet, you can test, is there something in the salad section that is really good for me? Is there something in this other section that is really good for me at this time? And here's a very cool thing, okay? People with cravings, and you go to the grocery store. I remember the other day thinking, man, I just want something good to munch on. I just want something kind of like sweet and yummy and good to munch on. So I went to that section, okay? Dang, nothing there tasted good for me. Nothing, okay? I tested the cookies. I tested the yummies, and it's like, you know what? I honored my muscle testing. I honored that. I could have gone in and bought a box of this, oh, yum, 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 gone home and felt sick after eating it. But you will learn to honor yourself. That's a cool thing you learn with muscle testing, and you learn to honor your body more in testing those foods that are good for you. But back to the restaurant, you can open, and there's so many choices in restaurants. It's not just 2-page menu anymore. You can actually test, is there something on this page, or this certain section, and one of those. But you can shake it up even more, okay? My most favorite saying is, do your best and bless the rest. And I honor you for opening this session with a prayer today. I really do. Because a lot of people in the world have gotten away from prayer. The best energy technique on the planet, okay, probably in the universe, but do your best with food. And sometimes you will be out, you'll be at a restaurant, or you'll be traveling or somewhere else, and it's like, there's nothing healthy to eat. Well, bless it, okay? Energy has tested, that there have been energy. There are machines that can test the frequency of something. There was a woman many years ago who was a scientist. She tested a loaf of white bread for the frequency of it. And it had a very low frequency, okay? Just a regular old, like, manufactured bread. Then it was blessed. The frequency increased quite a lot.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes, yes. So do your best, bless the rest. Okay, that is so you can raise the frequency of food, because there's so much talk these days about all of our food's bad for us, etc., etc. I mean, how is not everybody like anorexic because we don't, and there are a lot of people that just are, I can only eat this and this because that's the only thing that is good for me, and wow, do your best. Do your muscle testing, and you can test in the grocery store, you can test in a restaurant, you can test in an airport, and then give it a good blessing, and you can rate it, and it will test higher for you.
Right. Donna Eden, I watched something of hers a couple weeks ago, and she had a guy come to her who was homeless, looked awful, disheveled, everything. And so she taught him about putting his hands over his food. He goes, I don't pray, I don't believe in prayer. And she goes, that's okay. Just bless it. Just say that you're thankful for the food and God delivered it to you, and bless your body to be able to break it down and to be able to absorb what it needs. And this gentleman came back 2 months later, and she thought he was off the street. He looked better because he was blessing his food, and he was a blessing himself, but he didn't know.
Definitely the truth. It doesn't matter what your denomination or non-denomination is, just be grateful.
Yes.
The simple gratitude. And, you know, with your hands, you do have powerful chakras in your hands,
yes.
of course. And yeah, just gratitude. Gratitude beams from your whole body.
Oh, amen. Amen. And if we don't have gratitude, then we need to find out why. Because there's many people I'm finding that don't have a lot of gratitude for even being here. I've been finding that a lot here on clients lately. They just don't want to be here.
It's hard times. And so
Yes, it is.
we need to just sometimes we need to look, oh gosh, I'm grateful for my eyes. I'm grateful for my fingers. You know, I can touch. I'm grateful that I can hug myself even if nobody else can.
Right.
You know, so sometimes we need to search for those things. And the more we find gratitude with little baby things, a little cute rock you find, a pebble or whatever, then that, you know, all that adds up.
It does. It does add up. And we're very blessed for that. Does anybody have any questions for Lana? Don't be shy.
Yeah, I would love your questions. I would love your questions also about muscle testing. If you have any struggles or problems with that. I've had some people who are, you know, professionals that give my book to their clients or say, you need to get this because it helped me learn muscle testing better or to clear out blocks and things like that.
Is there actually a book about muscle testing? There's not, is there?
There are books, yeah, on Amazon.
On
there
Amazon.
are some books on muscle testing, and I have a great section in my book on muscle testing, complete with photographs.
Oh, that's awesome.
Let's see. Okay. So complete with photographs on different techniques.
Love it. That is great.
And I give you a whole section on how to let's see, to have better muscle testing, how to clear your blocks to muscle testing. If muscle testing is not working, you can do this, this, and that. So, and how to muscle test your dog. They can't hold their paws out. It's like, no. How you can actually test yourself for your animal. So use yourself as the proxy to do that, or other people. So yeah, I give you lots of ideas on how to muscle test right inside. It's like a little book in a book.
That's good. That's good. I am so glad you did that. That is really great. Thank you.
Well, I wanted to make it complete, okay? So in the beginning of the book, you know, I tell you a little bit about my story and how I started the work, and then take you into muscle testing, and then teach you how to shop, teach you about digestion. So one of the really nice bonuses on my website is called the 30-second gut flush. And it tells you, it's a crazy name. I just named that. So as I was writing the book, I named it that. It's like, we got to have a catchy name for this. And because we had just, you know, so it tells you how to like flush your gut, to how to balance your body. And I'll give you a demo right now. Okay. Would you like a demo?
Please. That would be great.
Okay. Let me zip my pants up, because when I sit down. Okay. Bearing it all here. Okay. So here is, so standing up here from below, like your sternum to the top of your pelvic area. Okay. This is your gut. Okay. So here we go on the right side. This is my right hand. You have on this side, you've got your liver, you've got you've got your gallbladder, you've got, and all the way down here, you've got some large intestine, you have an ileocecal valve down here. Brushing down, this is the 30-second gut flush, and it takes 30 seconds to like 10 times down here. Move your hand over here. Here you have your stomach and your pancreas gland, your spleen, and so forth. Part of your small intestine, large intestine, and your female organs, your kidneys, and so forth. So 10 times down this way. And then left hand over here. Now, as you're crossing over, you energy workers know you're getting your right and left side connected. Okay, so this actually works on your brain as well as your body. So, and then 10 swipes down this way. So that literally takes about 30 seconds. Okay, so do about 3 sets here. And it is so easy to do. You will feel your tummy start gurgling. This is a huge balancer. Any testimonies that I have over many, many years, the gut flush, tons of people. You can do it while you're sitting. You can do it lying down, clothes on, clothes off, set a time. I mean, I do it first thing in the morning to balance my body when I get up. But it helps your digestion tremendously. Little children can do it. My little granddaughter, who's now, I don't know, into her 20s, she was out jumping on the trampoline. She was 4 or 5 years old, and she stopped. Her mom has seen her out in the backyard, and she stopped, and she started doing this. She actually was testing herself, okay? And she just started, brushing her little tummy. So when she came in, my daughter said, "What were you doing on the trampoline?" And she said, "Oh, I had a little tummy ache." So, she was balancing her tummy like Mimi. My grandkids call me Mimi, like her grandma taught her to do.
That's
so
nice.
You can do it on babies, tiny little babies, the colicky type, It's very easy. Just very lightly brush your fingers. You can do it if you've had surgery and you can't touch your body or something like that. You can do it on animals. They're crazy about it. But it helps to balance your body from top to bottom. Literally, it is amazing. So I give you in the book, and I'm not trying to sell you my book because I know y'all want it anyway, but I'm just telling you what is in there. So I give you some techniques in there to help your digestion and balance your body. And how many of you have anxiety, or your clients have anxiety? Wow. This calms the nervous system and anxiety like that, okay?
Oh, wow.
And with little kids and babies as well. But I give you so if you're afraid of cooking, or if you've never cooked before, how you can find out some blocks. If you have blocks, some people think that the food codes are a diet. And they have to clear themselves to be able to use it or be cleared, because it's not a diet, okay? So we're so afraid of dieting or cooking or whatever. So that's kind of, and I do give you some other energy techniques in there that you can sit quietly, and you can use muscle testing, or you can just use to clear some of the things associated with food or cooking.
Now,
or dieting.
Do you have any ideas in there for little ones, for our younger kids? Oh, beautiful.
Every little kid needs their food tested. Yeah. So we're feeding a lot of our kids the processed foods and so forth. Macaroni and cheese, there are some pretty good macaroni and cheeses out there that are more natural, that don't have all the junk in them. Okay, I'm not saying to, oh gosh, you have to do all of this and stuff. You can test what foods are good for your child. Doesn't every child, every baby need to know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so our little ones, and like I said, the gut flush technique. I've had children just stopped having all the ADD, the ADHD, and that junk going on simply by finding their best foods. Okay.
Wow, that is awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah. So it's awesome. Every family needs it. And like I was mentioning, in the back of the book, I give you lots of recipe ideas on how to use everybody's plan together. For instance, my husband and I, he's more of a fresh food guy too. His body can really handle a lot of foods that are raw and not cooked. My body just seems to need, most of the time, more cooked. And that's where you can test how, like what percentage of your diet needs to be cooked or raw, etc. And so I give you ideas in there how to how to have a family gathering. And let's just say soup and or salad or something like that. How to fix it for a crowd that have different needs. So I just give you lots of ideas on how to use it. Because, okay, so you have your food and your other family members have their foods. How do we use this? I teach you how to do that. And I also give you examples of people's food plan, a couple of families and a gal who was a runner who dropped about 60 pounds with this. So it's a great weight management tool and for all sorts of things. But yeah, I just give you lots of examples on to help you feel comfortable and
Thank
ways
you.
of testing.
Thank you so, so much. Kayla, did you have a question?
I don't. I was going to ask her to talk about the gut flush, but she did.
She did.
So I'm glad about that because it works. Anytime I even start to feel like I have an upset stomach, I do that and it's instantly gone. It's very wonderful. And it's on YouTube as well if you wanted to rewatch it.
Okay,
It
beautiful.
is. I actually have two. I have an older video and a younger video. The 30-second gut flush. It's on YouTube.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. That is going to be helpful, I'm sure, for many people.
And feel free to use it with your clients, because there's really rarely a client that I don't suggest it for. What are some of your top things? Anxiety, headache, digestion rampant, hello. And so this just helps in so many ways. Grown-ups, kids, even your dog.
Our precious pets.
Yes. Pets crazy about it.
I have a question. I have a lot of clients who not only have extreme anxiety, but also have lots of depression, hormonal issues, facing breaks out, the whole 9 yards. So by using this book, we could determine what would be the best for them to settle all that down besides just doing the gut flush.
Exactly. Precisely that. I'll give you an example of a client. She is about 1.5 years ago. She came to me. She could eat nothing, basically nothing. Her bowel was so bad, and she had been to doctor after doctor. She'd been to natural this and natural that, and she was in a great deal of pain. She couldn't put on any weight, okay, because she couldn't literally eat anything. And then she was on a massive amount of supplements, trying this, trying that, and so forth. Her first food codes plan was limited. It was very limited, okay? And you can test how long do you need this plan. Is it 2 weeks? Is it 2 months? So you can test how long this plan is appropriate for you, how long you need this certain plan. And so over the testing, I just have had like a 6-month it's been about 6 months, her last food plan, every food plan, she was able to eat more and more and more foods, okay? Her body, she can eat most things now. When I see people with that a lot of foods are good for them, their body is really in pretty good shape. Their digestive system is in pretty good shape. But so when you do the food plan, always just test, how many, how long is this food plan particular needed? And so the body will change. So at least do it with every season. But if you've got a client or yourself that have a lot of issues, test. The first food plan might be a couple of weeks, so always test how long. But gosh, lots and lots of great results just changing your foods up.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That's a great question, Marcia. Does anybody else have any questions?
What would you recommend to help somebody with infertility? Just the regular food plan that we've discussed?
Just ask.
Just ask.
foods their body is needing. It could be foods that lead to a better hormonal production. It could be they could have some toxins in their body. Now, people always go, oh, we need to cleanse. I know I need to do another cleanse. A lot of people do way too much cleansing, okay? And it's hard on their body. It's really hard with certain, I only need to eat take green drinks for the next 2 weeks or something like that. Test and see. So yes, you can do a particular food plan for what does this person need with fertility. And here's the thing too. If you find a certain food that this person really needs, I mean, it is a really good, but you're allergic to it, or you just plain can't stand to eat that food, then find out what the nutrition is that food has. What is the top nutrition that food has? So maybe you can supplement with that particular nutrition. So yeah, there are definitely foods that could possibly help with, what are the underlying causes for fertility? Anything.
Several.
Yeah.
So we could ask, no matter what disease that is going on, what kind of food would assist the body.
Whatever you're experiencing right now. Oh, I can't sleep. I've had insomnia forever. I'm blah, blah, blah. Are there any foods that are bothering you? You can ask that. Are there any foods I'm eating that are bothering me associated with this? What's my best food plan for anything? Literally. If you think about the early philosophers, was it Socrates that said, let your food be your medicine?
Yes.
Your medicine be your food, that sort of a thing. Ancient wisdom.
Yes.
Ancient wisdom that's always been known.
Yes. And we need to follow that more readily than what we follow already.
Well, and that's what I found also. When I was searching for 10 years of being out of pain, I found that food and nutrition helped. And I tried the diets of the day. Here's a tip for you. Never juice a whole head of cabbage and drink it all down at once. Okay?
You would be getting sick very quick.
that was one of my things that, juicing. I didn't have a juicer. I asked a friend to borrow a juicer, and back when I started it was so weird. I've always kind of been a girl who jumps in from the high dive.
Yeah.
So test your body to see if your food is appropriate. Or juicing. That's one of the big fads these days of drinking XYZ juice every morning and having a big glass or something like that. Is that the best thing for you now? Right. Always test that.
Right. Thank you so very much.
Yes, thank you, Lana.
Any more questions? Don't be shy. Nope. We thank you so much.
I have a question.
Okay. So, Petra.
Hi. So I guess, Lana, there are charts at the end of your book that are pretty comprehensive.
Oh, yes.
And
that is, thank you for asking that, Petra. Yes. On, like section, like page 88 or whatever, there's a couple of links in the book that will take you to, I have given you lists of foods from every category. So for instance, fruits and vegetables, root vegetables, proteins, different types of oils and things like that, grains and beans and legumes. So all food categories. I've given you whole foods to test, and then a section with that. So you can actually fill it in. It's a fillable. You can fill it you can download it onto your computer and fill it on your computer. You can print it out and use it that way. So yes, so I've made that easier for you, because I had to, like, how many foods are out there? There's a lot. And so there is a downloadable food list that you can use. Yes, there is. And also,
God bless you,
just a shopping list that you with you to, like, the grocery store. You can, a little list that you can put your best food, you can put your foods on and just, write them down and take the list to the store.
That is really awesome. You must have really went to work on this book.
You ask how long it took. I don't know how many hours, but it was a lot. It was a labor of love for
Well, good.
you.
Well, thank you. We wouldn't know what to do without you.
You're certainly welcome.
We appreciate it so very much. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay, if we would please, let's bow our heads and let's give our thanks. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your love and your knowledge, which you bless us with each day. We thank you for Lana Nelson. We thank you for her being here with us tonight and for sharing with us the food codes. We thank you for all the new healers tonight. And we also thank you for all the beautiful, this group of healers as we go forward. We thank you for bringing us all together and sharing in the knowledge and the friendship with each other as we grow with you. Amen. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. This was very fun. So
What, would you come
blessings
back
to all.
I
I would love to.
Beautiful.
I would love to.
Beautiful.
Just let me know what you'd like to, I could do a demo. I would be